Hey everyone, here's a question. Can you imagine Charles Bukowski meditating in some distant mountains in China or practicing Tai Chi? We know Bukowski from his drinking, bar brawling, and antisocial personality, but also his brutal honesty in writing beautiful poetry and saying he didn't give a shit what people thought of him. Marxists might characterize Bukowski as lumpen proletariat, a lower-class man who is not organized, not political, and has no interest in changing himself or the world. In other words, a loser who drinks to fight and then drinks some more to heal his wounds so that he can fight again, to heal his existential wounds. Violence and alcohol are as far from Taoism, but Bukowski was an artist, wordsmith. That's why he was a lot closer to Taoism than many other philosophies. How? Taoism started as a religion in China some 2,500 years ago. Confucianism at the time emphasized order and hierarchy. So Taoism, instead of strict disciplinarianism and rigid hierarchical way of life, focused on being at ease with nature and people. In other words, chilled way of living. It has a deep root in shamanism, a way of connecting with deeper inner spirit and nature through Tai Chi martial art. Shamans believed that there was a deeper underlying spirit that connected all humans no matter what period in history they lived. Even today in countries like Mongolia, shaman priests drink a large amount of alcohol to go on a spirit quest to talk to their ancestors from hundreds to 1,000 years before. Taoism, perhaps an offshoot of shamanism, emphasizes the flow of life, immortality, and balance with nature. By immortality, I mean the immortality of spirits. Taoism embraces two opposing forces within us, yin-yang, or dark and light forces, which we might say good and evil, violence and peace, demons and angels, are all inside each and every one of us. Wu Wei is a Taoist doctrine which means a state of not being, or not doing, or inaction. For example, practicing Tai Chi, you get to a state that your body becomes one with your surroundings and nature. Movements no longer feel like effort or strain on your body. Or as Bukowski might say, don't try. It's written on his tombstone. Don't try. Don't go to extremes. Don't use excessive force. Now, how is Bukowski a Taoist? Let's be clear, he wasn't religious. He said so himself. I take his words. Taoism is a religion, but also a philosophy. Bukowski never said he didn't follow any philosophies. As humans, no matter how secular or atheist you are, you can't live life without adhering to some basic principles for meaning or as an anchor for your existence. Here's what is interesting, a real connection between Bukowski and Taoism. It is the state of Wu Wei, or action through inaction, or sometimes called flow. Bukowski was so goddamn good writer that he didn't have to try to write. In other words, he didn't have to strain to produce good crap. I mean good poem anymore. That's why he says don't try. He was writing with ease because he had reached a state in which Wu Wei, or flow, was his friend. He was one with his words. He was the same as his writing. He was writing without effort. He was his art, and his art was him. Action without strain, action with inaction. Now, granted, Bukowski didn't have it as a young man. He spent years getting to a stage where he didn't have to try. He got there by practicing for years. But when he found his flow, he just crapped, and it was good crap. It takes a lot of crapping to be able to just do it. Babies shit themselves for years before they can use toilet. Now, what Bukowski wrote wasn't beautiful to everyone. Not everyone liked what he wrote. But then that's what Taoism teaches us. Here's a quote attributed to Lao Tzu, the man who wrote the main book of Taoism, Tao Te Ching. He says, "The truth is not always beautiful, nor beautiful words the truth." I think Bukowski has the same philosophy. He never tried to hide the ugly. He mostly wrote about the ugly. That's what great artists do. They write, and sometimes their writings stick. Other times they don't. But Bukowski continued writing what was truthful, what was less bullshit. He wrote how he felt. He wrote how he saw. He lived a crappy life for a long time before he was successful. Sometimes you have to walk through a pile of dirt to find something good. Truth is not always in some library, or some secret government departments, or some distant mountains. Truths can be found among alcoholics, among the lumpen proletariats, in the most ordinary places. Bukowski used alcohol to numb the pain of existence, so it also allowed him to live outside the modern existence for a bit. Just like the shaman priests who get drunk to be able to travel to the past in quest for truth, Bukowski consumed a lot of alcohol. It wasn't just alcohol, it was also his decision not to play the capitalist game, which allowed him to find a deeper meaning in life, a deeper truth. He reached a state which Taoism was teaching 2,500 years ago, a state of being one with your existence. Our social history and culture turned us into a fish inside a shoal in which we synchronize our existence for the most part. Being an individual means being alone or in the cold, but being part of a cultural shoal, we grow smelling the same fart of those came before us, centuries before us. Bukowski fought it a new way, somewhat his own way. We are creatures of our own cultures, like a thick juice we swim in and we can't see anything beyond. Bukowski didn't join this culture as vigorously as most of us do. He stood away. He didn't play the game capitalism has set for us all, to run like mad, to get rich like mad, to consume like mad. Bukowski was an artist. He listened to his own feelings. You might say that's the way of the Tao. Nobody has monopoly on truth. We get there in our own ways. So when Bukowski says don't try, it means find your flow and let that flow take you wherever it may take you. Listen to your inner voice. That's freedom from the grind. Malcolm Gladwell concluded that 10,000 hours is needed to master an art, craft, or a sport. Artists, craft people, and athletes spend at least that amount of time practicing. Bukowski spent decades writing and writing and writing. Only at the age of 49, he was given the chance to write full-time. He was a paid author. Great writers write millions of crappy words before they can find their flow or groove. Bukowski used isolation techniques. Solitude was as important to him as alcohol and his writing. He avoided people, but he also used alcohol. In France, a century ago, many great artists used the green fairy, absinthe, to create great art. Coleridge, the great English poet, used heroin to compose his most famous poem, the Lyrical Ballads. Okay, I should stop here before you get some bad ideas from this video. The point of the video is to show that humans, no matter where you are born or grow up, you stay inside a local blanket. Unless you accept the cold and discomfort of being outside that warm and fuzzy blanket we call culture and history. People like Bukowski chose the discomfort to find the Tao or flow. So the real message of Bukowski is try and try until you find your flow where you don't need to try anymore. So humans are born individuals, but society brings us in line and punishes us if we stray. The French philosopher Jean-Jacques Rousseau said that we're born free but everywhere in chain. He meant society is our chain. Society gives us security and comfort but takes away our individuality, our freedom. We all want to be free. How do we find freedom? Bukowski found it in his writing, in fiction, in poetry. He says, find what you love and let it kill you. You might be surprised to think that Bukowski was the best humanist out there. He also says, we're all going to die, all of us. What a circus. That alone should make us love each other, but it doesn't. So the bottom line is, whatever you do, do it in a way that makes you tick. Your true feelings come out. Truer self. I don't think there's a true self as an absolute, but partially true selves that flow inside you are there. You just need to look for it. You can only find in doing something. It's through the doing that we find the meaning for our life, the happiness or containment or purpose, be it in writing or reading or making videos or cutting trees or working in an office. Whatever you do, some days are easy, some days are hard, some days are terrible, and some days are wonderful. And on those days, rare they might be, we don't try. Those days flow. Those are good days. Thank you.